Hello, you guys. So I'm just gonna be taking you through another my Thursday workout. If you did watch the other video where that was my first workout of the week, it's usually on Mondays. And I usually have my second ones, which are today, Thursday, and it's gonna be the same concept. Just taking you through each one. There is again four exercises, and they are all with progressions. So it's working out the same body part. So today I'm starting off with shoulders, but I'm going to be explaining can make it how you can start off it being easy if you're not quite familiar with this type of exact body weight exercise. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of go through the easier progression, and then how you can build off that so it becomes harder. And yeah, and then of course there is a fifth one, but that's just finishing off with abs. Um, you don't need to do that, as I explained in the previous video, but yeah, we can just go ahead and get into it. Okay, so here I am starting off with just regular handstand. Handstand push-ups for the shoulders. That is my warm-up. And here we're getting into the first set. It's going to be side to side. So I'm going to be leaning onto each arm with more weight on the particular arm. And of course, each side is half a rep, both being one full rep. I recommend doing only up to 8 reps, which would be the maximum that you do. But of course, at the end of this video, I'm going to take you through like the progressions if, of course, you've never done handstand push-ups. They are quite intense, and again, this progression is because I have done this before many times, so that's why I'm kind of able to do this. But I'll go through the earlier progressions with you after the entire workout. And here is my third set. I didn't record the second one because it was still side to side. Remember, you want to start your 2 sets off first with the harder progression, and then your last one is going to be the least hardest. And in this case, I'm just doing regular handstand push-ups up to 10 reps. So your first two would be 6 to 8, and then your last one is 8 to 10. For the next exercise is pull-ups. It would be back, but because, since I'm not going to the gym, just the door pull-ups is what I'm doing. I'm doing 2 sets, and you can kind of see how my legs are being against the door itself. That is actually offering resistance, so it makes it a little bit harder than just regular, pull-ups like how you would do in a gym. But I do up to 10 reps my first set, and then my second one I do 10 as well, but I didn't record that one. These are called ATG squats. If you've heard of Ben Patrick, you can look him up. He's knees over toes, but I actually got this exercise from him where you want to put the leg that you're working out in front of you, and you want to put the back one kind of like very much behind, so that when you kneel down you get a nice stretch. And again, the whole point is that the leg that is in front, it's going above your toes, and then also when you go all the way down, you notice that the back leg has a nice stretch. So you just want to put it far behind until when you go all the way down, it's very flexed out all the way, and it also helps your hips as well. And again, make sure that your whole body is not kind of leaning forward. It's just kind of in place. It's up straight, so that the only thing you're working out is your VMO, which is the muscle next above your knee. And then just do this for around 8 to 10 reps. only 2 sets, and 2 minutes rest in between. For this next one is very simple. These are like lateral raises, but since I don't have dumbbells, I am using my suitcase. So what you're going to do is 12 reps, 10 reps, 8 reps, and then 6 reps, but it's going to be 10 to 15 seconds in between. Here I just filmed when I did 10 reps and then 8 to 6. But as you can see, I'm doing with on my right hand. You can count on your fingers for 10 seconds. It's really not that long, but the whole point of this is just to get that extra pump towards your shoulders. Because remember, our first one was heavy shoulders with the handstand push-ups, and just anything that is not too heavy, but it's also that it's not so easy, right? That you'll definitely feel the burn after you do these 4 sets, again with only 10 to 15 seconds in between. And then for the next week, if you wanted to, you can add some more weight or just find something heavier that you can lift like this. And this is optional here, but this is abs. Again, you're just doing side to side here. Each side is a half a rep, so of course both sides would be one full one, and you can do 8 to 10 reps at your will, and 1 minute in between. So yeah, that is the entire workout. It's really not so bad, as I said before in the previous video. It's these 2 workouts that I do. Takes me less than an hour. Max is 3 sets, and it's really only for your first exercise. The remaining 3 exercises after that are only 2 sets, and although it is intense and you want to make every set intense as it can be, because you don't want to make things easy, that's why the progressions are there, so that every week when you reach the max number of reps for that particular set, you can then move on to the next progression, and you can honestly make anything harder for you, especially with body weight. You just need to be comfortable with the movements. And so we can first go into the handstand push-ups. I know for me that it was kind of awkward, pushing myself up against the wall with one leg on the wall itself. But what you can do is you can go put your feet on a chair and then put your hands on the floor, so that it's like you're in a handstand, but of course with your legs on the chair that is supporting you. But also make it seem like you're going upside down, and that's just gonna help you get a feel for being upside down and going through the actual movement. And just do that as your first set, and then therefore you can get used to the movement being upside down. But it's actually the more closer to the chair that you are. So here, say the chair is right down there, so obviously if I'm doing it here, it's going to be a lot easier. But if I go in here and actually doing it closer to the chair, it's going to hit more of my shoulders, and it's going to be more like the movement as if I'm actually on the wall. And then that's pretty much it. After you do that is regular handstand push-ups, and then the next progression would be the one you saw with my first set, which would be side to side. And you want to remember that when you're going side to side, you're very leaning in to the arm that you're going into, and not so much on the opposite arm. And of course, as I said, each side is only half a rep, which would so both sides would be one full rep. And then, so I actually did the max number of reps for my first 2 sets. So next Thursday, I'm going to take you through the next progression after that, which makes it a lot harder. And as I said, it's literally the smallest things you can change with these exercises, but it makes it a lot harder, and therefore, the more intense you'll be able to resist and do. That's a way of measuring your strength and then therefore your muscle. Um, the pull-ups, pretty standard. If you want to make it harder, you can do less rest time. I didn't mention throughout the video, but for the door pull-ups, if you don't have a pull-up bar, I don't, so that's why I do the door. But if you do, um, you can reduce the rest time. So I did 2 minutes, and I did 10 reps on both my sets. So what I can do is I can reduce it to 1 minute, or I can do it to 30 seconds. And because my legs are against the door itself, it makes it a lot harder, just because it's that resistance, right? So that's what I'm probably going to do next week, is I'm going to do 1 minute in between. Then when I hit 10 reps on both sets, it's going to be 30 seconds, and then so on and so forth. The ATG squats, which is the third exercise, I did 9 reps. This is my first time performing those. So next week I'm gonna do 10 reps, and then from there, I'm probably gonna do a different exercise, or I'm gonna find a way to make it harder. Maybe I have a backpack here. I can probably throw some books in there, so then that way it's more weight for me going down, and then me having to lift with the particular leg I'm working on. And as I said, guys, there's literally so many things you can do to make it that much harder, but it's progressing you. It's making you stronger in these particular movements. The last one also as well, when I was lifting up the suitcase, I forgot to mention that you kind of want to lean forward a little bit. So your feet are just, they're you want to put it at shoulders length, and or shoulders width, I'm sorry, and then you want to lean forward a little bit, and then that's where you want to go like this. And it's just up to here. You can maybe a little bit, rather than 90 degrees, just kind of a little bit like there. And then remember, it's 12 reps, rest 10 to 15 seconds, 10 reps, 8 and 6. And then once you reach those numbers, because those are the max for each individual set, then you can add more weight, or you can find, say, I can add weight into that suitcase, or I can find a bigger suitcase, and then therefore it would be a lot harder. For abs, right now, I'm very much satisfied with my ab development. As I told you guys before, abs has nothing to do with the exercise themselves. That has to do with the strength of your abs. But as far as them showing, it's just you being at a certain body fat percentage, for them being visible. I personally, through my last video, how I was telling you that the one-arm push-ups are very much a core exercise. So I used to train my abs a lot. I used to put dumbbells in between my legs and kind of hold here, and then I would do do knee up. So I have a pretty solid strength foundation, and the fact that I'm able to do elevated one-arm push-ups for this last on Monday, I did 5 reps, or I did 4 reps, I think. And of course, I'm just gonna keep progressing. But I have a pretty solid core strength. So on the abs, I only do it twice a week, or even once a week. But I do it with that exercise, with the knee ups, just side to side. Remember, each side is only half a rep, so each side would only be 1 rep. And again, if you want to I rested 1 minute in between, but again, if you want to make it harder, rest 30 seconds, or if you want, you can increase the reps. I did 10 reps for all 3 sets with 1 minute rest. If I wanted to make it harder, I can do max 10 reps and then 30-second rest in between. And it's those little tweaks that really make a difference. Or instead, I cannot I cannot lower my knees past my waistline, because then that means the abs are engaged the entire time, which makes it a hell of a lot harder. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's it gets you stronger. As I said, for it being summer right now, you're not as hungry, so your body's not gonna. It's gonna naturally be lean, unless of course you're not on a particular eating structure. I think I'll make a video about that as well. Kind of about how different types of ways that you can structure the way you eat without having to give up any foods. Without having to call your diet one of the specific ones. And I'm talking about, paleo, vegetarian, keto. If none of those really resonate with you, and you just have, there are days where you want to eat more bread, and then there are days where you only want to eat meat. Like, it doesn't matter. Whatever your preference is, I'll make a separate video on how you can tailor it towards your needs, right? And still being able to gain muscle or to lose fat, whatever your goal is. But with that being said, that was the workout. As I said, it took me less than an hour. I'm only doing Monday and Thursday, and I'm losing fat. I kind of want to lean down, because I said I'm not as hungry, and that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, it takes me 2 hours per week. This is something that I like to say too when I'm kind of talking to people and getting them to understand that it doesn't take a lot of time. If you're really serious about this and getting into shape, per month, I think there's a little over 700 hours in a whole month. And so 2 hours per week, there's 4 weeks in 1 month. So that's 8 hours a month out of over 700 hours. Does that seem like it's a lot to you? 8 hours out of a whole month just only dedicated to building the strength of your body and to getting in the shape that you ultimately want. It really is not that much of a trade-off. Again, my main thing here is to kind of show you how simple it can be, and I understand that with all the conflicting information out there, that it seems like you should be doing so much, or it just all sounds complicated that you can't adhere to one particular thing. And so that's what I want to make as easy as possible for you, is to understand that you don't need to do everything. If you just stick to basics and you work on them. As I said, we're sticking with basic exercises here, but we're working on making them harder so that we can improve, not just so that everything is easy. Again, we're only working out 2 days per week if you were to follow this, but we're also having that intensity, because these aren't easy, so the intensity does matter if the volume you're doing each week is lower. And again, if you enjoy working out, I used to do 3 workouts per week, even with Bodyweight. But for my particular body, I've come to realize that 2 workouts is actually, my body responds better to that, because it's the lower volume, it gives me more rest time, therefore I'm able to perform better on my actual workout day. So I've realized, and I've actually gained more muscle with that rest time in between Monday and Thursday. So that's just what works better for me. But of course, I can take you into different workout structures, because of course I know some of you who are watching, you may have jobs, and you may have just certain days that you can't work out, but you can always add it in. You can always add and tailor a structure towards your life. Not everything has to be one size fits all. It really is a choice. If you really want to make it work, you can. And again, that's what I'm here to do, is just to kind of articulate that confidence and put it on you so that you know that fitness doesn't have to rule your life. It can be very, very adjustable to you, and you can make it work. Um, you just gotta, you just gotta want it enough, and stop making excuses, and finally just do it. But I'm just glad to be making these videos, because when I found out of how simple it was, and really in the beginning it was kind of like is this it? I feel like things are going very well for it to be going this easy. Like, shouldn't it be harder? And that would make me anxious. I would end up kind of maybe binge eating because I'm like, oh, I gained weight now, and now it is harder. Now I need to get back on track. But that was just a way of me kind of self-sabotaging myself, because I felt like it needed to be hard when it really doesn't. and when you kind of take that stress off you, and your body just reacts better, it builds muscle easier, you lose fat easier, or you gain muscle easier. But yeah, I'm kind of going off now. But yeah, I'm excited to make more videos just to kind of calm those urges and those moments of questioning or doubting yourself. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. All right, see you.